it's Patty from PS Paper Crafts. Thanks for joining me again. Today we're going to make a card similar to this. It's going to be a birthday card though. This is Thinking of You, and it just has some butterflies on it. I'm using the Butterfly Brilliance. I'm not actually using the stamp set, but I'm using the paper and then some of the dies to cut out the butterflies. So this paper is really pretty. I know I've shown it to you before, but I went through and picked a couple of designs that I liked. I like this one, and that's what I'm using here. And then I'm using the leftover pieces from this card on the side. And then this, I really love this pattern. Something about it. It's Bermuda Bay, and it's really beautiful. This is beautiful as well. So you have a couple of choices. You can either you can get a couple of cards out of these, but you can either just place these right on top of this, or you can cut this down so you can get 2 cards out of it, which is what I'll do. So I cut the butterfly paper the same way. I'm going to show you how I cut this, and you could probably do all kinds of measuring and math and all of that good stuff. I'm an eyeballer kind of person, so I'll take my trimmer and I'm just going corner to corner. Now this is a 4 by 5 1/4, so you have to make sure you have the right size right from the get-go. So I'll just go corner to corner right in the that little place where it cuts. And I'll just cut right down, and I'm going to keep it together and go the other way. And I want to try to keep it really together. If it's off a little bit, it doesn't matter because you are covering the middle with the sentiment. So it doesn't have to be perfect. You can kind of have it not lined up underneath as well. So we'll just cut this. And then you'll have the 4 pieces. So let's save these 2 pieces for another card. So I have, I have a few extra pieces, and you can use any of the butterflies you want and just make 2 cards with 1 set, if that makes sense. So I have this white piece is a little bit bigger. So it's 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, because I wanted to have a little bit of a border around it. And then you just put your pieces together, make sure they're lined up with the border around it evenly. And it's very easy to do. And they should line up perfectly because we started with the same size, the 5 1/4 by 4 and by 4. And I just moved everything. So I like to line it up, and then I'll adhere them down. So let's get one in place, and then we'll fit the other ones around. And you could probably have something in between them, a little space between, but I didn't want to do that. All right. For some reason it's not moving for me. There we go. Okay, so that looks pretty good. So I'll get my stamp and seal, and I'll just do 1 piece at a time to try to keep it in the right places. If you're off a little bit here, that's okay. So I'll just put some across each side, and then we'll place this one right down a little bit, so we have that little bit of a white border, and then we can work on the other pieces. It's a very easy card. It's really pretty, all the papers. You know me, I love designer series paper. That is my favorite product, I think, from Stampin' Up. And by the way, if you didn't get my email, if you're not signed up, or you didn't see it in my Facebook, I've been putting it everywhere. Today is St. Patrick's Day, and Stampin' Up has a special where you can get free shipping if you spend $50 or more on product. So this is before tax, of course, and this is in the US. So it's pretty cool. I know shipping sometimes can get a little costly, and it's nice if you can place an order and have free shipping. Stampin' Up isn't like Amazon. It's a small family-run company. so they can't really afford to do free shipping on a regular basis. So take advantage when you can. I love working for them. They're a family company. They are, this is off a little bit. Let me see if I can fix it. Or maybe I'll just trim it down. I may just trim it down. It's a little tight over here. I think it's very tight. Let's see. Let's see how it looks on here. I may just trim that down. Yeah, I think I'm up too high and down. So let me just trim it down. So they're, you know, as I said, they're family run, they're debt free. They're really a good company. So they're very good to their people, their employees. And so when they can do a special like this, it's nice. So if I had done this a little bit better, you would have this nice even border around it, but I don't really want to pull them up, and I think it's okay. I just really wanted it to pop a little bit on the sides and on the top. So that looks good. Okay, so then what I did, I'll put this down with my stamp and seal. And then I'm using one of the square doilies, which I think are really beautiful. I don't use them enough. They're vellum and they're square, hence the name Square Doilies. And I just think they're really pretty. So I have some extra butterflies there. So you get a pack of them, and you get 24 in a pack. So I just open it up, and I think it's nice if you have either a square or a circle going around it. So we're going to put this on like this, and we are going to also punch a circle out of a piece of Bermuda Bay, and then we'll stamp the sentiment on it. And I'm going to stamp it with the Versamark, and we're going to emboss it with white embossing powder. So let me get my Versamark. I have my stamp already mounted, and this, so let me just show you the stamp set that I'm using is this Happy Thoughts, and that's where I got the Thinking of You and then the Happy Birthday. So it's a good set, because this stamp set that comes with the butterflies actually doesn't have any sentiments. So before I do that, I don't think we carry these anymore, but if you have one, it's nice to just go across it with the embossing buddy. And that just keeps some of the embossing powder. It keeps it where it should be, which is on the Versamark that you're stamping. Okay, and then we'll spread on some embossing powder. So I keep it just in a little plastic tub here. And we'll just go right over it. And what happens is when you heat it, it melts where it's stuck. So that's why you want to make sure it's not stuck where you don't want it. And you can use a paintbrush if you wanted to get it off. I'm just going to wipe it with my fingers. Okay, so let's put this aside, and let me get my heat tool. It will be a little noisy, and let me get a pair of tweezers as well. It does get a little hot, so, and this is small to hold. So I'll just hold it with my tweezers, and I'll take my heat tool. Okay, I hope you could see it on the video, but it just turns it, and actually I see there's a little tiny bit. If it's not shiny, that means it's not done. And I see this little tiny bit on the B. So let's try to just hit that. There we go. So when it's shiny, it's done. That's your clue. Okay, so we have this done. And what I'll do is I'm going to adhere this with some dimensionals to the doily. And then I'll put the doily down. And I'll put the adhesive on the doily right behind this circle so we don't see it coming through. So it is vellum, and it's very delicate, so you just want to make sure that you don't have your adhesive showing through. So we'll just take all the backs off. One more. Okay, so let's put this on the doily. And it will be sticky through it because it's sticking through there. But I'm going to just put a little bit of adhesive just to make sure it sticks down good. I probably don't even need this because these are really sticking through it. But I like to just make sure nothing's going to fall off my card. Okay, so now we can put this on and just kind of get it centered and push it down. So now we want to decorate it with some butterflies. And what I did was I cut, you'll get 2 stacks. So let me just tell you this, this is 1 stamp. And you can cut it out with this big die that's all attached, which is really cool to get it all done at once. But I like these little butterflies as well. And these I used to cut this one, and this is for the inside. And then I used some of these little ones to cut these. So I have a bunch of them. And I did something a little special to them. So I used this paper to cut them out. And there's different colors. There's, I think, the magenta, and there's yellows that are just kind of like splotchy like this. And so I cut them out from that paper, and I'm going to run them through my Big Shot with an embossing folder. So I have, let me get the Big Shot. And I'm using this Tasteful Textile 3D embossing folder. Sometimes I can't pronounce some of these things. And I'm just opening it up and putting these in however they fit. It doesn't matter. They don't have to be lined up. Just put them all in here. And one more. And then just run it through. And it just makes it look pretty cool. Of course, it adds texture, the idea of the embossing folder. But I like the way they turned out. So I'm using the blue plate. I have to use my gray plate. They're pretty much the same. I don't know if you remember, we had the blue plate when we came out with the 3D embossing folders. And when they came out with the new machine, they have a gray plate. It's the same thing. So now you have these textured, and you can really use either side because you can't tell that there's butterflies on the other side of the paper once it's cut and once it goes through the embossing machine. So they're really pretty, and I love this one. So this one I'm going to put on the inside, and then these we'll put on the outside just to decorate it. So on this one I did not put a sentiment in. I just put the butterflies, and I'm not sure that I wanted the 3. I think it would have been good with just 2, but we'll see how it looks with this card and the inside sentiment. So I'm going to take the sentiment from the same stamp set. Today is great because it's all about you, the great person you are, the great things you do. And I will stamp that with the Bermuda Bay ink. That looks nice and juicy, and hopefully it will line up. This is a big long stamp, isn't it? It goes really end to end here. and it's a little crooked. Let me get a piece of scrap paper. I like to just line it up on and see how it stamps before I go down on my paper. So I'm just gonna move it a little bit. Hopefully I don't get ink, and then I'll just test it out. I think that looks good. So let's flip it over. And try it again. Okay, that looks good. So let's put this away. And on the inside, we'll just do this right now while we have the inside going. I just put a little bit of glue on the back of this one, just on the body. And really, you can do either side. Now I have to decide. I think I'll do this side this time. So I'm going to just put it right here and kind of bend the wings, and it probably won't stay bent as it goes through the mail, but we'll see. And then on this one, I think I'm only going to put one up top. So I'll put this one up top. Okay, so let's put these aside and let's decorate this one. And what I did was I took a bigger one and put that one here. And then I did a small right here. And then this one right up here. Okay, so I'm going to just put a little glue on each one, right in the middle or on their body. And then we can put some rhinestones on them. I just thought it was really pretty with this embossed look, and it's just colorful. Okay, so we have an extra butterfly, and that's perfectly fine. Let's get our rhinestones out, and I'll put two little ones. Why do I always have trouble with these? There we go. One, and it is a little bit soft because of the glue. It will dry and stay in place, but while I'm moving it around, it's the one good thing about using that glue, because you can move things around, but it does take a minute to dry. And then we'll do the middle size on this one, and two smaller ones for the rest of his body. So these come in 3 sizes, so I'm using not the tiny one, but the middle one for the top of the head. And then one more. Okay, and then we'll put 2 little ones on this small one. Come on. And one more. And then we're done. We'll put the inside in, and we'll call it a day. Call it a card. Okay, let's put this inside, and we'll use our stamp and seal. I love that sentiment. I think it's great to give someone. And now I have extra pieces to make another card. So that's what's nice about this kind of design. You can get 2 cards, one with the butterflies on the top and bottom, and then one on the sides. So it's pretty cool. Thanks for joining. I hope you give this style card try. You don't have to use it with butterflies. You can use it with, you know, whatever other papers you want. I would say get one that has a pattern like flowers or whatever, and then kind of more of a plain pattern. Otherwise, it might be too busy. All right, thanks so much, and don't forget free shipping March 17th only. Take care. Bye.